You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, NBC soap opera fans. It's Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we have something important to talk about on Days of Our Lives. It's somebody who is hitting the scene in Salem this week, and we have to wonder who the heck is Lord Sebastian Alamain, because the amount of information about this guy is minuscule. He had one scene on Beyond Salem, and now we're being saddled with him. So it's very interesting to speculate about what is going on. Who is this guy, and what do you need to know about him to get ready for his appearance on Days of Our Lives? If you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers, casting news, all the good stuff that you need to know about your favorite streaming NBC/Peacock soap opera. Okay, so right away, all we know, honestly, is that Lord Sebastian Alamain, Lord Sebastian of Alamania is the country, is coming over to the mothership. And he's played by Noah Huntley, who is the same guy that played him on Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem Chapter 1. That's the last time we saw him. And in fact, we only saw him in one episode of the show, and he didn't take up that much airspace, but they have transferred him over to Salem this week, over to the mothership, the main show of Days. And just in a nutshell, but we'll dig into it more later, Dimitri von Leuschner tried to steal the Alamanian peacock. The jewels could be used to control satellites and weaponry, all this kind of stuff. But it wound up safely back in the hands of Lord Sebastian and in the National Museum in Alamania. So it's complicated because there are some Alamain family members that are known commodities and we know who they're related to, but Sebastian is kind of out of left field. The Alamain family actually debuted on Days of Our Lives back in 1992 with these serious and messy ties with the DiMera family. So Tony DiMera's mom is Daphne DiMera, and she is the sister of Lawrence Alamain's mom, whose name is Philomena. So Tony, you will recall, is an adopted DiMera, so it gets even more complicated. So via adoption, Lawrence and his son Nicholas Alamain are Tony's cousins, but those are his biological cousins through Tony's mom, Daphne DiMera. So she was only a DiMera as a common law, but she was related to the Alamains. So Vivian Alamain is back in a few months. Louise Sorel is already filming, and she is Lawrence Alamain's aunt. And then in more recent years, we know her as the mom of twins, Stefan and Jake DiMera, via her relationship with Stefano DiMera. Let's stick to Vivian's generation, because these are people we actually know about the Alamains. Vivian's brother was Leopold Alamain, played by Avery Schreiber, and he was on back in 1990. And here is where the Alamains and the von Leuschners linked together. Leopold's son was Lawrence Alamain, who was married to Katharina von Leuschner, aka Carly Manning. And they had a son, Nicholas Alamain, who was raised and adopted by Vivian Alamain. Of note is that Nicholas Alamain was played by Cody Longo, and he passed away at a very young age in February of 2023, reportedly due to alcohol poisoning. So those are kind of the known Alamains that have come and go on the show. Katerina actually killed Lawrence, and right now, the only ones I think that have been around are Vivian Alamain and her offspring, and then now we've got Sebastian Alamain. And he appeared in episode 5 of Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem Chapter 1. The main scene we saw him in was at the museum in the Kingdom of Alamania, and he was pleased that the ISA had recovered the gems and they had reassembled the golden peacock that was on display in the museum. And he had scenes with Shane Donovan, of course, always played wonderfully by Charles Shaughnessy. So that's when we saw Dimitri von Leuschner in the scene with Sebastian. Dimitri showed up and said that the jewels actually belonged to the von Leuschners because Carly Manning, whose real name was Katharina von Leuschner, the peacock belonged to the von Leuschners, but it was part of Katharina's dowry when she was marrying Lawrence. But as Dimitri pointed out, that wedding didn't occur, and so it should be von Leuschner property. But Sebastian was not impressed because Katharina and Lawrence went on to later get married, even though their initial wedding didn't go off. So he feels like they got married, it was the dowry, it belongs to the Alamains, and Carly later killed him in self-defense. So after Dimitri was thwarted, then Lord Sebastian invited Billy Reed, of course played by Lisa Rinna. He invited her out to dinner, and Shane told Billy, go have dinner with the guy, have fun. And so that was kind of it. One episode, he had this scene with Shane Donovan, and then he had this encounter with Dimitri, and then he had this dinner plan with Billy Reed, and that was the last episode of Beyond Salem Chapter 1. So the real big question is, who the heck is Sebastian Alamain? It feels like he was created just to throw in to Beyond Salem Chapter 1 because he's not one of the known people. And at the time that it filmed, Cody Longo was still alive and could have appeared as Nicholas Alamain, but they didn't go that route. So we have this question of who is Sebastian Alamain's father or mother. It would have to be a dad for him to have the Alamain last name, although Vivian still uses the Alamain name and she's been married to others, I believe. So the actor that plays him, Noah Huntley, is 48. He is too young, therefore, to be Vivian's generation. Vivian is 82, but he is the right age to be her son or her nephew. So Brandon Barish is 43, and he plays Vivian Alamain's sons. He played both Stefan and Jake. So he's very close in age to Noah Huntley's age. So Sebastian might be some offspring of Vivian's that we haven't heard of, and maybe that's why he's showing up in advance of Vivian's appearance, which comes in a couple of months. She's already filming, but Days of Our Lives tapes right now, I believe they're up to like 6 or 7 months. They are back up to where they were pre-pandemic for their backlog of episodes. So we have to wonder, he could also be another child of Lawrence Alamain. Even though Lawrence is dead, they could just have invented a child. So it seems likely that he's got to be either Vivian or Lawrence's son, because that's the generation that makes sense, is to be that same generation that Stefan and Jake were. But we'll know more. We'll find out, but he is supposed to show up, I think, by Wednesday is what I was hearing, May 24th, May 25th. He'll be showing up in Salem, and that's at about the time that Megan Hathaway is out of prison because Dimitri von Leuschner negotiated her freedom and Kristen's freedom along with his own immunity deal. So maybe Sebastian is only going to show up just for a second, just to have something to say to Dimitri, or maybe he's going to stick around because he is part of the advanced guard for Vivian, who's coming soon. We will let you know more about Sebastian once we know more about Sebastian, but we are always excited for them to enhance the character canvas. Although there's plenty of people on screen on Days of Our Lives, it's just kind of interesting and a nice throwback to the 90s, and we'll find out more. If you haven't already, reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Days of Our Lives spoilers, updates, casting news, everything you need to know. And hopefully by next week's issue of our Days of Our Lives comings and goings videos, we will know more about Lord Sebastian of Alamania and can tell you lots more about him. For now, get excited. There's a new character on the way to Salem.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.